Hey everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Starting a Record Label. This week we're on episode 3 and we get to have a little bit of an interview with a band called The Dares. They were signed to Jive a long time ago and they had kind of an iffy time, let's just say that. And so I kind of wanted to pick their brain and try to apply that a little bit to what I wanted to do. But other than that, things are starting to go in the direction that I'd like them to go. In the future, I definitely want to start to figure out like how much money I'll need and what I can kind of offer. I think those will be separate podcasts in the future. Definitely things I need to figure out. Right now, my sleep schedule is so stupid messed up, and I keep getting on a good one, and then I do something like tonight and work all night and do some recording, and then try to do the podcast late. You know that thing I talked about last podcast or the podcast before? Where I was like, hey, I want to batch these things so that, I don't need to rush and try to get them out. Well, guess what? Everyone got sick the one week, and we all got put, behind schedule. So here we are again. But I feel like me in general, flying by the seat of my pants is what I kind of do best. So, we don't have any hard dates set up yet. Obviously, we don't have a band yet. But one of the nice things that happened, surprising things that happened this week, was me seeing a lot more articles about the music industry needing to change and adopt some of these things that I've been talking about. Finn McKenty from the Punk Rock MBA podcast, he does that a lot, as well as his normal Punk Rock MBA YouTube channel. If you haven't checked that out, or the podcast, you totally check that out. But Rockfeed is a YouTube rock news channel. Even rock music starting to take advantage of new media and content creation. I love seeing that stuff pop up in my feed every week. Definitely check them out. But before I started talking about this, like last year, I was like, hey man, nobody's doing this stuff. And it's really exciting to see bands starting to come around to this idea. The idea that business marketing needs to be a part of your band and that it's not a 4-letter word anymore. It's easy to see YouTubers do this, and they're like, crap, these guys are making real money. We could do it too. And what would be nice is to see a lot more marketing aspects taken into bands at their shows even, and at the merch and online. You have no idea how many times I've seen a band at a bar or somewhere else, and I see, oh, hey, they got a merch table. Let me just look over there and see what's going on. No email list whatsoever. No way to contact people that might have come to the show. They didn't even say something from the stage like, hey, go check out our merch. But hopefully things will start to change in that way too. So anyway, this week I actually got to record a band that I've recorded quite a few times before. They're a great band. They're called The Dares. Which is funny is that Angie sees this as like fun for me, and I'm not gonna lie, recording good music is very fun and to have a really good time. But we were kind of trying to cut some corners and save some money, so we were trying to do some stuff at their practice space, like we did bass there and whatnot, and we were even trying to do some background vocals just so we can save some money. There's a lot of things that you can overdub and a lot of things you can do at home, but for drums especially and guitars, sometimes you need a decent sized room to do so, and a lot of good mics. So but like I said, we were down at their practice spot in Santa Ana, and we were having a good time, and we kind of got blasted out by the punk rock band next door. And so I was like, you know what, hey guys, I wanted to kind of do an interview with you guys. Earlier in their career, they had been signed to Jive Records, and they have kind of an interesting take on the music industry that way, because they were told they were signed for one reason, and then a whole nother reason kind of emerged after they were signed. So that's pretty interesting. You guys can definitely listen to that. I kind of more wanted to know, like, hey, what are some things that I need to look out for? Because the biggest part of this is I want to be like completely honest with all these bands, and I want them to trust me 100%. And that's going to be hard with someone you don't really know. I know that record labels do not have that trust. There's so many horror stories. So many. Even indie record labels, there's a ton of horror stories. So I wanted to say, hey, what are some of the things that they did that I want to make sure I don't do at all? So we got down to talking, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Matt. No, wait, I'm not Matt. Wow. I was just going to do the whole thing.
Hey, I'm Matt.
And I'm Ben.
And
We're the Dares.
yeah, plus 2 other guys
Yeah.
that aren't here.
That sounded too egocentric.
We decided to do some recording at these guys' practice space, and it's just a little bit noisy, so we're taking a little bit of a break.
Now that the punk band has stopped.
They're pretty gutter punk. So I'm starting a record label. I think I just told you guys a little bit about it, and I know you guys had, since you guys got signed by
It was Jive.
Jive.
Yeah.
How did that whole thing go down? Like, how did that start? Like, I want to kind of like look and see like what you guys might have went through that maybe I can either emulate or things that I can not emulate.
There's definitely stuff you don't want to emulate. But,
I don't know how much you guys can talk about.
Oh, we can
this.
talk. Yeah.
yeah, we
Yep.
can. It's just trying to like recall the exact sequence.
When did this happen, by the way?
2006 we were signed.
Yeah.
We were 16.
Uh-huh. So we were working with this one producer who had a friend from what eventually became our management.
Mm-hmm.
And our publisher, which was a conflict of interest, but whatever. So, long story short, through this guy's friend, we met his boss, that was the like lead manager at this company, and he came to a show at the Viper Room one day, and afterwards we got coffee, and he said that he could basically get us signed within like 3 or 4 months.
He just said that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get you signed.
Yeah.
And he did, actually.
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
he did, and he had a connection with our A&R at Jive.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, brought the Jive personnel to another Viper Room show, I believe.
They were like rented it out, and so
And
it was a showcase just for them.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, it was really random. And let's see, and then after that, let's see, we had a couple meetings with them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they
Trying to recall
you know,
everything.
offered us a record deal. Basically.
They,
And we're like, okay, let's.
but they
Was there any negotiating like back and forth after
Yeah,
that?
there was a little bit,
we
but
had
like.
a lawyer at that time,
Yeah.
but we didn't know that they kind of signed us on the pretense that we would be like a Jonas Brothers type act.
Yeah.
And
So they didn't tell you that at all.
No, and they framed it like they wanted us to be like a Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, which we were cool with because we wanted to be part of that scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like big at the time.
we're
Yeah.
a band, and
We were 16. That's
Yeah.
what we wanted to do, and like, so either they signed us with that idea of like, oh hey, this is like a Panic at the Disco, this is Jive's thing into the whole emo scene or whatever, and then it changed into the Jonas Brothers, or they were hiding it the whole time. So we don't actually know. Yeah.
I kind of think that our manager sold us as the Jonas Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong, we just weren't that.
And we
Yeah.
didn't want to be that.
Yeah.
Was there like a little bit of pushback afterwards? Like, did they ever like come out and say that? Or
Well, so it actually ended up causing problems because there was like a really big disconnect between the management and the label.
Yeah.
So by the time we actually ended up being released from the label, there was a lot of tension between. Well, we had a different manager at the time, but even the second management that came in said that like the environment was like just really
Kinda icy.
It was really strained, the relationship between basically the band and the label.
The first manager, he was good at like keeping his word, getting us signed, but then like the details I feel like the label was frustrated with. And I think that dragged on. I think that's part of the reason why the relationship between us and their view of us was starting to sour.
Yeah, but so in the years while we were signed, we worked with a bunch of songwriters and different producers trying to get the single, like the hit or whatever.
Well, David Bendeth was one of them.
Yeah.
Is there any other cool ones like that or big?
Songwriter wise, we worked with Stacy Jones from American Hi-Fi.
Oh, cool.
All American Hi-Fi.
What's to be right with?
We worked with Mike from MXPX.
Oh, nice.
That was really cool. Wrote 2 songs with him. Who else did we do? Oh, we were gonna work with the guy from Evanescence, but then it didn't like come through.
Yeah.
We went to
Did you go
Islands
up?
with him.
Did you go up to Seattle to work with them? Or
No.
did
No,
Mike-
he
did
was
Mike
in
come down?
town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We worked with a bunch of random people. I haven't really. Oh,
Shep
Eric.
Smith?
Oh yeah, Shep Smith and
Eric Rossi, he did
did Tori Amos and Sara Bareilles. Bareilles.
Yeah.
Now, did they know that they were like from the label that they were supposed to make
I
you
think
guys a
so,
Jonas
because-
Brothers band?
Yeah.
So one time when because we were working with Eric, we did maybe 4 or 5 songs with him,
Eric
and
Ross.
by like the third writing session, he made the comment that that our label doesn't understand that they actually have songwriters
Mhm.
in us.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he thought like he had to like
Give us a song.
write everything and
Put my vocal over it.
basically,
Yeah.
and he realized that we actually have ideas, and he made that comment. It's like, okay, it's starting to all come together. Why like it's taking so long, and it seems like it's maybe not meshing, or like whatever we do right, they weren't exactly happy with.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough. We were putting out songs.
For like a pop smash type of thing.
It took a while.
Were you guys able to pitch any of your own songs?
Yeah,
to
I mean,
them?
almost all of them were starting from our own songs, and then like we would bring it to the producer and be like, "Hey, this is an idea we have," and then we'd just finish it together.
Okay.
Most of the songs were like that.
Well, so it's a little bit of like what kind of we do, but
Yeah.
It depends on the session. But
okay.
yeah,
So there might have been like more songwriters,
Yeah.
Well,
producer in it.
we worked
Yes.
with also Mike Green. He was I don't know if you know who he is. He did
Producer.
like some of Yellow Card, Paramore.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's been up to actually.
I think he's songwriting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when we worked with him, I remember one session that there was actually another professional songwriter that came in, and
Yeah.
she kind of was briefed that
She's
we
gonna need to
weren't
take the lead.
that we weren't songwriters. So she came in with like pretty much fully like formed ideas, and she was just basically bouncing it off of us as opposed to us like
Collaborating.
Yeah. So that was kind of awkward, but she thought she had to do that.
So yeah, there were some sessions where we were definitely kind of taking the lead or more involved, and those are our favorite sessions. And then other
Yeah.
ones, it's like you could tell like, oh, the control wasn't really with us at all, and like we were there because we had to be there, but
Yeah.
they could have just written the songs and given it to us.
But I would say we
Maybe
definitely
prefer-
it improved us as songwriters. It was really it was even the bad experiences taught us something. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. I haven't thought about a lot of this in a while. Like, oh yeah, that happened.
Well, like it's crazy because you said you guys got like completely released like from the
Label?
label.
Yeah.
They didn't like completely shelve you then, where you couldn't do anything for
Well,
years.
we couldn't re-record any of the songs that were going to be on the actual album. So like
They own the
Event-
masters. They
yeah.
stopped us from re-recording it.
well like
For a certain amount of
the
time.
end phase of that whole era was we ended up getting new management, and they were really legit, like really good. And then we ended up going on tour, like 3 different tours, and
Open for Cartel.
and then we were like, oh okay, when is our album that we finished like a year ago gonna? When are you gonna put it out and have?
so
us
you guys
tour?
did a whole album.
Yeah,
Basically
Two
did
different
like
producers.
They have the whole thing.
Everything is done, mastered, ready to go for
Wow.
the most part. And so we were touring, and this is like the same time we got new management. So I don't know, a lot of like I said, like disconnect between up until that point.
Were you touring with big acts?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
toured like Cartel, Red
Red-
Jumpsuit
Okay.
Apparatus.
Did you have anything to sell while you were there?
We had download cards, so it was
Okay.
like 3 of the songs from the album, and we were pushing that. But we wanted to release our album and
Yeah.
build a fan base of our own type of thing with our own music, because we weren't able to really release anything in those like couple years of songwriting. Like we released a couple like demos that we made,
But they weren't available on
yeah,
iTunes.
but we were a signed band that didn't really put anything out until we did those download cards.
Dang.
Yeah.
Is that stuff on your
It's still
Spotify
out.
now?
It's still,
It's still out, yeah. And then we did like
You
the
can
Free
search
Roam
that.
song around the same time.
So that those things, some of the download stuff is on the Spotify.
Yeah, those are
it's
the
like
3.
Love Me When I Leave.
Yeah, those are the 3 Jive songs that they released. Like they're still
Yeah.
available.
So those were
That's
released.
cool, at least.
Yeah, at least that. But that was towards the end. But we wanted
But you
to
did like 2 full CDs worth of stuff, and it never got released.
Absolutely. We did one basically with the producer in Memphis, Paul Ebersold, and then we did almost a whole nother album with David Bendith, and then we just picked the best 2, and then
the best 10 songs from both.
Yeah,
of
the
them
best.
combined.
I'm sorry, the best from each, and then David mixed it all, and then it was mastered, and that was our
And
album.
we were sitting on it, and it was shelved for a little bit.
How long was that between the time that you finished and they approved it? Like how long was that and before they basically said we're not releasing this?
Maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were still giving us like I don't know if they didn't really know what to do with us. I think, and so they put us out on tour. Yeah, they put us out on tour, and I think they just wanted to see if like people would react to it. And like I think people were, but like it takes longer than like 3 few-week long tours to like get real buzz going, especially when you don't have any music release.
Well, that also like that made it more frustrating because we wanted to have our music release because people were responding, and then then we ended up, and then at one point I remember the management left as like Jive was dropping a bunch of bands, and then I think they eventually became RCA. They got like
this was kind of like right around the financial crisis.
Yes.
And so I think that probably played a little bit into it because I think these labels were like, oh shit, we need to. Am I allowed to say shit?
Yeah, that's fine.
You can just beat me. Oh shit, we need to, like cut some of our costs. We can't just be developing all these acts who don't have anything out there. I think that probably weighed into it.
And they didn't, like we said, they didn't really know what to do with us.
I would imagine that's probably what really happened was the fact that Napster crap happened in 2000 and like they were trying to make some money off of like iTunes and things, but I think at that time the CD sales had tanked so much
sure.
nobody was really buying a lot at all, and I think that's when they started catching up with them that they couldn't spend like they used to spend.
Yeah, and at the same time I remember they were talking about like how we were one of the last bands to not have a 360 deal. So like that kind of goes on the idea of actually making money through album sales.
Yeah, it's kind of a whole paradigm shift, and we're just at the tail end of it.
I had a friend, actually one of my close friends, Chris Wallace, was in the White Tie Affair.
Oh yeah,
you guys remember him? Okay, he got signed probably about the same time. So we're like, I think it was towards the end of the MySpace era.
Yeah,
where he'd like put some stuff down and like just made a band, and it was dance. Pop punkish thing, rock. It was fun, you know. But like around the same era, so you could just totally see like that kind of stuff slowly slow down.
What world they were in at the time?
Well, I think rock in general. I mean, like take a look at like how much has been released, at least on even major labels in the last 10 years.
I know.
I mean,
well, yeah, it kind of got taken over by first synthy pop rock, and then it became like EDM, and now it's a mixture of EDM and like hip hop, which is really doing well.
Yeah.
But I know that for me, like the whole thing is like a shift in like a paradigm and how bands are going to make money going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're really big, you can make some money off of Spotify if you don't have any attachments. It's like if you're on like a big label, they're going to take most of that money.
Yeah.
I am sure. Like your publishing, you'll get your songwriting, I'm sure, but the publishing is just going to be gone.
Yeah.
You'll never get that back. But I think for my label, I'm going to start. I'm going to have the bands do a lot more than just music to get sponsorships, and we're going to do obviously like a lot of YouTube stuff, podcasts, Twitch, anything that they're open to doing. Like I want to have as much media and as much content out there as possible for them.
That's a good idea.
What do you guys think about that? Like, you think that's like a different way to go about it nowadays?
I feel like you would need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good way to
have a presence.
Sort of adapt to the new. I guess music industry or whatever.
Or the way people like just.
Well, the way they consume an artist. It's not just like CD sales. It's mostly streamed like that people listen to. So you're not gonna really like blow up. Yeah, exactly.
I figured like it's more single based probably.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, you guys are kind of doing that now. I mean,
we haven't
your songs
released an album in 10 years, but a couple EPs.
We have like albums worth of material, but it's just kind of costly and time consuming.
I feel like people overlook a lot of the songs that you'd want them to like pay special focus to, and that like they just won't commit that much attention to a whole album of songs. But if you do a single every couple months,
to get like
their attention,
a wider appeal, you definitely need to do that. Although I love an album as like its own work.
Yeah.
I think
most musicians do. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, albums are great because they can tell a story.
Yeah.
Like, a song can do it too, but it's not as long, obviously. It's not as big of a
It's a part of the story.
Yeah. It's a small part of the story, or it could be its own individual like thing.
Definitely.
So with the like singles every once in a while, I think that you could probably do both. Like I think I want to do both, where like I want them to be releasing like a single maybe once a month, but then also be working towards an album towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
So you can have a little bit of both, because I'll totally miss that.
Yeah, I do
album
too.
vibe, like, you know.
Me too.
I don't know.
And if the songs are really good, they just work together, and you don't get
That's true. Even if you do singles, they can totally work together.
Yeah.
Because when you guys were producing your stuff for Jive, you guys didn't do all those in one shot, right?
No,
you were
no,
going around with person to person.
It took a long time.
Yeah. For the
Couple
most
years.
part.
Yeah.
What would you guys say would be the best part of what you guys kind of went through?
Through Jive?
Yeah, for the Jive.
Learning what the business is like.
Yeah.
At like a higher level than
Seeing-
just playing like random shows in LA. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, kind of looking behind the curtain. Or
Yeah.
like what a lot of people are like striving hard to like get to. It's like, oh yeah, we saw what that actually looks like, and it's like not as glamorous as people think. Also, I think touring was really cool. Seeing North America at like 19 was pretty nice, and then learning how to record and be a band. I think
being a recording musician as opposed to just a live musician.
because we just
Different skill set.
we wrote and worked with producers so much that I think we learned how to be a band in the studio, and I think that allows us to take a song idea and portray it the way we want to do it, because we can communicate and kind of
and plan it out. And
We can
conceive
get
of
where-
it
yeah.
as like a finished product.
we can get it to where we like it enough where the producer can pick up and make it even better and surprises and stuff.
Was it a little bit rough in the beginning?
Maybe I think you learn how the recording process goes, and you don't really know what to expect, and so you're letting someone who doesn't maybe know the song, who doesn't have the same vision, kind of guide the process. And when you know what to do and you know how to kind of get where you want the song to be and to match up to your vision, I think you can communicate that, and then a good producer just makes it better.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, I think playing to click is an awful experience for anyone.
Even just
So,
basic
like,
skills like that.
Yeah, so that took like a little bit of time, but now I'm comfortable with it. And
No, obviously.
yeah, you know.
You come in and like knock it out and like, all right, you're done.
Yeah, so like we definitely developed a lot of our skills through that experience, especially songwriting and like we said, recording.
It also made continuing pursuing music after worth it, and finding some sort of success, even if it's different, attainable. Like, oh, we saw how close we got before. We now know certain mistakes not to make and certain things to avoid. Also, the nature of music had changed a lot at that point, and so we're like, this is still doable. Why? Let's not give up. Let's keep making music, because I mean, we're probably gonna do that anyways. There's a lot of cool things that came out of it. Like, I don't regret it at all, though it was frustrating. And like,
Yeah, it taught me how to like manage feeling stuck.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah,
and there was just a lot of that because like you get the high of oh, we got signed. I'm 16. I don't really understand what's going on.
yeah.
Did your parents have to do anything for that? Because you were 16, right?
Yeah, they had to, like, I don't know, not co-sign, but like...
Because I don't think they can technically sign you until
No.
you're 18, right?
Yeah, well, or, I think they had to sign with us, like my...
Maybe your parents
Something.
signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
That's, yeah.
That's weird,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
What would you guys say that I should do to maybe watch out for like some of the not so cool parts? Like what's something that I can do that would not, that would help a band or not hinder a band?
No, that's a good question.
I don't know. I think the way you approach production is actually really helpful.
Yeah.
And bands that have never experienced an actual producer can like, it can be overwhelming and they might recoil a little bit at like being told what to do or like.
So you kind of need like a light touch with it.
Yeah, well, I think it's an useful experience to have your ideas like judged by a producer if you've never done it.
Yeah.
Especially how you record, like.
But you hear he does that, like.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Like.
Well, I'm
know.
saying like if you've never experienced that, a band might not like that, so they might think that like, oh, he's not fun to work with or something.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they would think that with you. But
Thank you.
but I think that's something you definitely that every band needs. They kind of need to get they need a bitch slap of reality as a musician every now and then. You know, like it's
It's the light one.
yeah.
I don't.
As far as the
I
things
think he
not
does.
to
Maybe
do,
just being clear with the vision, like the mistake we had was the label thought one thing and we thought we were another thing.
yeah.
But like we've always been clear with our vision with you. I think you already do that. So, but as a producer and band relationship, being clear with what you want and how you want to be perceived, and making sure that you guys are both on board.
So just being pretty much honest 100%
Yeah.
up front.
Yeah.
Not having any...
But yeah, I don't know. I don't. That's not really advice to you because you already do that, which is why we like working with you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that like you don't already know to do.
I kind of explained the idea a little bit to you guys about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. What do you guys think of? I talked to my other friends about this. What do you think of being like almost 100% transparent with the money, like going into the label, like to anyone? Like,
I think it's a good thing.
yeah. I mean, would you guys? Because this podcast is going to go forward, hopefully even after the label starts.
Yeah.
To kind of continually show like, hey, what's going on
Yeah.
in the label? What would you be not happy with, like other people knowing how much money maybe you guys were bringing in?
No, I mean that doesn't bother me. But maybe when I was younger that would bother me. But like, what do you mean? Like showing off like success?
I
Or-
mean, just like on the podcast, obviously we're going to be talking about money.
Yeah.
How much money stuff's coming in, coming out.
Oh, I
mean,
see. Like if it's embarrassingly low
Yeah,
or
would it be-
something.
yeah, or-
like, oh, we sold one shirt in the month of May.
Oh, like disclosing.
maybe
that
not
type of thing.
disclose as
Okay.
little tiny things like that, but like just in general, like how much a band might be making that year.
I think you have to be honest. Like if you're doing a podcast where I feel like the whole point of doing that is to be accessible and so to show people what you're actually going through. I feel like you would have to be honest, at least to a certain extent.
It depends how you handle it. Like, if I don't know, if it's not like to embarrass anyone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or just flaunt it.
But you're just being real, maybe.
Yeah,
I think if it's relevant to what you're discussing, then yeah, like if you're having a discussion about how you make money or what is lucrative in the business, because like
I think
ultimately that's how you keep going. So like that's important.
I think it'd be helpful for other artists to hear it though too. Like, oh, this is what these other artists are making. Like, then at least to protect them from having a crappy deal or to know what's out there, or like, hey, these guys I'm doing way better. Maybe they're screwing up or something. Like,
as part of the honesty that I wanted to kind of bring to it,
Yeah.
was like, I know it'd be kind of naked the feeling to be like, hey, all this information's out there
Yeah.
of how we're kind of almost doing.
yeah,
But at the same time, since I'm going to be wearing so many different hats and the label itself is going to be more of like a content creation like label,
yeah.
I'm scared that people are going to be thinking that I'm like taking advantage of all these
Oh,
bands.
okay. Yeah.
And so I
Oh,
think
I
that it'd be
think-
cool
'cause
for
it's
the
one
bands.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's going to be one guy or one label.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to grow probably into more people working with it, but there'll be more hands in the pot. And I want everybody to know that I'm not like out there taking advantage.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm taking all the money. Like you run into a crappy promoter or something, and they
Yeah.
say, oh, sorry, we didn't make any money tonight.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the more hands that are in the pot, the more transparent you need to be, just to keep everyone happy and
When you put it that way, like how you just like qualified it, I think transparency is important in that way. But I thought like when you asked the question, maybe like, oh, we're just gonna like disclose every
Like post it. I mean, I would kind of like to. Maybe not like on the front page of like
Yeah.
whatever website
yeah.
it is.
Well, it's just not that interesting. to
But like
most
if
people,
someone
too.
wanted to look it up, it'd be like, hey,
Make it
there's the
available.
numbers if you want to go
Yeah.
search it, you know, like
I think if the goal's so that nobody feels like they're being had or being screwed in some way, then I think take all the necessary steps.
Yeah.
like shows where we're like actually spending, because I mean, obviously, you guys probably didn't run into it too much, but like with labels, just like they just do whatever the heck they want and they charge it to the band. You
Yeah.
know, like I ran into that a lot when I was recording at studios, and like label projects would come in and they'd be like, "Oh, we bought you sushi with your money." You know,
Yeah.
like, and we
That didn't
paid
happen
for
a
everybody
lot.
to have it. You know,
Yeah.
like
I think if we were on an indie, that would happen a lot more. I think they have less money to work with usually.
That's true.
When we were on Jive, it was just like they were just kind of developing us and stuff, and like these would be costs that they would like try to get back after we had like done something big.
well, that's
And
the
that-
whole
we
thing
never
about
got that far.
recouping. You'd never.
Yeah.
Even after you'd release those albums, most bands would never
Pay that back.
recoup.
No,
so
I know,
the
they-
only thing you'd have would be your songwriting, and yeah.
Yeah.
So
That way, we kind of dodged
It's
the bullet,
definitely
at least
something to
then.
keep in mind. like the transparency dimension of it.
That's cool.
I was saying they spent a ton of money on this.
Oh yeah.
We don't owe them, we don't owe them anything, and we got a cool experience out of it. So that's probably the most positive way to look at it.
That's pretty sweet that you didn't get completely shelled for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times, even with band, like if they saw you guys like doing really, really well, like some label, not Jive, obviously. If you were doing something competing with a similar artist, they might want to like hold on to you, sign you, and not do anything just because they want you out of the way.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. But I don't know if that was part of it, but
Yeah, I mean,
Not for us, it wasn't.
no, it wasn't.
they didn't see you doing Jonas Brothers stuff.
Yeah, they're like, just go.
Although they wanted us to, but yeah.
You know, obviously we just recorded a little bit.
Yeah.
But thanks for sitting down a little bit while it's a little quieter now.
Thanks for helping us.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem.
If only we could attract vocals now.
Exactly.
In a way, we are.
I really love those guys, and I know that what they kind of went through is what a lot of bands went through. And what I want to strive to do with this is to make sure that bands don't have to worry about being taken advantage of or not told the full story, and that they know exactly what I say is exactly what I mean. Because anything other than that, it's either a conflict of interest at best, and you're a liar and a thief at worst.
Well, on that cheery note, thanks for listening to podcast number 3. We're not going to do interviews every single time, but I try to get them as much as possible, just because hearing myself talk it's crazy. So if you guys want to follow along some more, we got some more stuff in the future. I'll probably talking to somebody about an LLC, definitely talking about what I'm going to be doing to offer for the bands, all those things are coming up soon. Maybe another one with my wife, seeing if she is happy about how realistic I think this is, and all those other fun things that we're probably going to have to come up with. Trademarks, who knows. So follow along on your favorite podcast app, and see you next time.